Now, we finally got some information on what Nintendo is going to be doing at this year's E3. Just like the last 3-4 years of Nintendo, they're not going to be doing a live presentation. They're going to be sticking with their formula, the whole treehouse and the whole direct thing. So they're not going to be live in front of a live audience. And honestly, for me, that works out perfectly fine. They could do the live presentation or they can do the treehouse and whatnot. Either way works. I think this formula does work for Nintendo, so they're just going to keep doing it. And honestly, I can't disagree. I think it's perfect this way, the way that they are doing it. I am going to be looking over here because there is a lot of information and I can't remember everything that they just announced. So here we go. So on June 13th from 9 to 12 p.m., so 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific time, they will be talking about Super Mario Odyssey. That's what they're mainly going to be focusing on right there. They're going to be focusing on the main thing. And that is most likely going to be the main game for 2017. I would have said Breath of the Wild is the main focus, but since Breath of the Wild is already out, it's definitely going to be Super Mario Odyssey, at least from Nintendo. A first-party AAA big blockbuster. They need to focus on that as much as possible. Even if they don't focus on that game as much as possible, people are going to want that game, but just if you can create more hype around the game and things like that, people will be more interested. Not like they're not going to be interested, but it'll get more hype, and maybe some people who weren't going to buy Super Mario Odyssey just by looking at some footage are going to buy Super Mario Odyssey when they see it at E3. Honestly, if they show it or they don't show it, I'm definitely going to be buying that day one. Super Mario Odyssey looks like a flat-out fantastic game. It looks like it might be the same thing with Breath of the Wild. It might be the best open world Mario game. But to be fair, we never really had a open world Mario game. Yes, you can argue with me and things like that, but we really never had a truly open world Mario game. So if this one becomes really true open world, it'll be flat out fantastic. It might be one of the best games of all time. I know it's a bold statement to say, but it might be one of the best games of all time. Honestly, everyone's super excited about that game. So if they were just to talk about it one whole day or a couple of hours, I would be 100% okay with that. I think most people are going to be okay with the fact that Nintendo's dedicating 4 or 5 hours just to this one game, because this game is going to be big. Just from the first trailer we've seen of the game, it looks like it's going to be a flat-out, fantastic, heck of a game. One big AAA game. We don't even know how long or how massive this game could be. If it turns out to be a Breath of the Wild situation, this thing could be massive. And then on the next day, immediately after the Nintendo Spotlight, whatever that is, oh, the Spotlight is June 13th, the one with the Super Mario Odyssey. So that is the Spotlight where they're primarily focusing on that. Then after that, they are going to immediately start talking about some Switch and 3DS games with the Treehouse. Now, that's nothing new. They've been doing that for years now. So, yeah. I think they're mostly going to talk about Switch games. And to be honest, they pretty much have to talk about Switch games. Yes, there's still a big audience for the 3DS. But if you look at the 3DS, it's at the end of its lifespan. And they got to get the ball rolling. A lot of people like GameStop and Nintendo Nintendo specifically wants the Switch to sell as big as the original Wii. Not the Wii U, but the original Wii. And then GameStop predicts that it's going to be as big as the Wii. If they want that dream to come true or make that a reality, they're going to have to focus on the Switch more or less. Yes, they're going to throw 3DS people a bone here and there, but that's not going to be the primary focus. Anyway, besides that, 3DS at this current time already has tons and tons and tons of games on the market. So if games weren't being announced for it, it's okay. There's plenty to play on 3DS, trust me. And there's probably games that you've never played before on 3DS that you can dive into with hundreds and hundreds of hours of gameplay already on the 3DS. We don't really need a lot of 3DS games. Honestly, if you were to ask me, I would wish that they would just kill the 3DS right now. But to be fair, I am a Switch owner and it's hard to go back. I just really do hope that most of it is Switch. And that's probably going to be the case. And then on June 13th and 14th, they're going to talk about Splatoon 2 World Link. They're going to have like an invitational for Splatoon. Then they're also going to have an ARMS invitational. Now, we still don't know nothing about ARMS. And it looks like do correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like also that ARMS is coming out the last day of E3. So if I'm corrected, we should be getting that day the day of E3. So I wouldn't be too mad if they didn't really talk about ARMS. I know it sounds like it's like you'd want to know more information, but since it's coming the last day of E3, a lot of people are already going to be playing it like that day. So I don't want them talking too much about the game since we're getting it like that. If it was like maybe more in the future, I'd want more information, but yeah, they're definitely going to talk something about ARMS. We'll need a little bit more information, but like I said before, this E3 looks like it's going to be a lot primarily focused on Super Mario Odyssey, because like I said again, that is going to be the biggest game for this year for Nintendo, outside of course, Breath of the Wild, but we already have Breath of the Wild. Oh yeah, also speaking of stuff about Nintendo, also, they might probably going to talk about some of the Breath of the Wild DLC. We already have information on the first pack, but they're probably going to demo it or show it off during the Treehouse event. I wouldn't be surprised. They may even go farther as to show it, the one coming out during the December. They might show us a little information, some not really too big of deal, but they might show some stuff on the upcoming one in December, because there's one coming up in August and there's one coming up during the winter time. So that's pretty much everything that Nintendo is going to be talking about on the show. Unfortunately, we don't know any other games they're going to be talking about outside of Super Mario Odyssey, outside of maybe some of those 3DS games they've already talked about, like Hey Pikmin and Miitopia, and then also ARMS and Splatoon 2. Anyway, it looks like this might be a really good year for Nintendo, just because the Switch is already out. They already have the ball rolling, and they also did say that they're trying to bring more new IPs to the Nintendo platform, which is really, really nice. And in the last couple of years, Nintendo has been really slow with their E3s. Their E3s were boring. I did not like them personally. Also, that also leads to the Wii U selling really bad. It just wasn't good vibes at all when it comes to the Wii U and Nintendo E3s in the past couple of years. Anyway, guys, peace out. I'll see you guys later in my next video. I'm out, guys.